How long have they even been on court? That was upcoming the whole time I was just sitting in front of a monitor.
And our listeners are going crazy. Monique in California, listening from California, well, Kerber got handed a bagel. And a bagel is a 6-love set.
6-love.
The 0 resembling the bagel, or a donut, or a bicycle wheel.
I'm not sure anyone saw that coming. Probably not even Danielle herself. Wow. Okay, well, it's indisputable it's there. I haven't seen any of it, but it says 6-love. Berdych has served a double fault here, and after a really positive start, he now finds himself in a really tricky situation here, Mark. 2 break points at 15-40.
Best way to go after pushing Nadal in that opening service game. We'll try to get a bit of a heads up for our listeners on what happened on that set, 6-love.
Nadal does really well flicking a backhand back into court, but it opens up for Berdych to hit the winner into the open court.
And that's a quality serve from Berdych. That's his bread and butter one on the juice side of the court, is that sliding serve out wide, which will get Nadal stretched out on his backhand side, and then the old 1-2 to hit that forehand up the line for the winner. That serve will need to be on song all day long if he's got a chance to push Rafa.
And here he goes with a big serve down the middle. Nadal does really well to get it back into play, and Berdych has hit a tame backhand into the net, albeit the high part of the net, and Nadal gets away to the perfect start. Not without its hiccups and speed humps, but he leads 2-love.
Yeah, a bit of a...
That's a...
bit of a poor choice of shot there from Berdych, trying to go back up the line from that backhand.
Certainly a poor execution.
Yeah, not in position. Can't do that when you break point down. One of the ball kids is running on court to chase a feather. We have a lot of birds that are buzz overhead and sit and watch the tennis without buying a ticket.
Yeah, that's the sort of behaviour that we can't encourage, isn't it?
That's right.
Realistically.
Just because you got feathers means you still got to pay.
Doesn't really do enough for me.
I wouldn't have got on yesterday. Yesterday was an absolute sellout here at Melbourne Park.
Absolutely, there was a massive amount of people in here. Nadal serves spinning away from Berdych, who does pretty well, but Nadal tends to not lose those points by the time he's moved in for the kill at the net, and he hammers away a forehand into the corner, which Berdych can't handle. 15-love.
And good news for Kerber fans, she's won the opening game of that second set, so after losing the first set 6-love, I'm sure she'll be just want to get rid of that and just reload, restart.
20 minutes for the first set for Collins to bagel Kerber. And then Kerber immediately left the court.
As you would.
Just trying to pick up on some information on Twitter as we go here. All right, Nadal serving. Nice reply from Berdych. Big forehand again, pushing Berdych back. Nadal bossing this rally until that's a nice angle from Berdych. Also from Berdych, from Nadal. Opposite corners now, the pair trading blows. Brilliant from Nadal. That's an outstanding cross-court winner on the forehand. Mark, you can explain the rest, how he did that.
I don't know how he did that, because Berdych hit an unbelievable running forehand up the line. He was 5 metres behind the baseline on full stretch, and he rifled it up the line, and Nadal has just sliced it back, and it's just dribbled over the net. Berdych didn't even run for it. He thought he hit the greatest shot in the history of tennis.
He sort of had. Pushes his back on the forehand, Berdych, into the opposite corner. Berdych is there, jumping into a backhand. Nadal seems to be really on song here at the moment. After a slightly difficult start in his first serving game, he's really hitting his spots on his ground strokes.
It is so hard to get a ball past Rafael Nadal. He is, everywhere you hit the ball, he is there. And more likely he's there ready to hit a forehand where he shouldn't be.
On the run there, he really wrapped his wrist around it to get that angle, didn't he, on that previous running forehand.
He changed his grip to a real continental, really opened up the racket face. Just like a little pitching wedge in golf, for those golfers. Just a little chip and run to the hole.
2-love, 40-love as Nadal serves, and the slice comes back from Berdych, and then up the line. Nadal is inch perfect, Mark.
And you know you're in trouble when the bicep, the vein on his bicep on his left arm is visible from the other end of the court to our booth. That arm is...
Well, that's a good start for Daniel Collins. Also a good start for Rafael Nadal in our main commentary match here on Rod Laver Arena.
Now, should we also let the guys in the booth know there's more Häagen-Dazs ice cream that we were lucky enough to receive yesterday?
Yes.
If there is anything down there, feel free once again to bring it up.
Yep, we're happy to receive Häagen-Dazs, or as we offered to take yesterday, Coopers, or 1573, whichever.
I've had my fair share of lollies today, that's for sure. I'm done.
Although it is tea time as well, so we'd also accept a cup of tea and a bit of cake. We don't ask for too much. Tim Tam?
That's right. Thank you to the young lady who's providing the manicure and pedicure while we're commentating here as well. Thank you to that.
Love 3, as Thomas Berdych has a must-hold situation really here against Rafael Nadal. Lands onto the backhand racket of Nadal, who goes cross-court and then more conventionally straight back in the middle of the court. There's a top spinner with the forehand, switches onto the backhand Nadal. Berdych there to defend. Then Berdych goes cross-court with a bit more depth on a forehand, stays on the same angle. Nadal slices up the line. The slice from Berdych found the net.
I really like that play from Nadal when he goes heavy with his topspin backhand, the two-hander. He drives a couple cross-court and he generally gets it coming back at him, and then he does that little fadeaway slice up the line to the backhand. No pace, and again, created the error from Berdych's racket.
Who serves now to the Nadal backhand. They go straight down the middle of the court. Up the line, Berdych sliced defensively from Nadal and advancing on the net. This is going pear-shaped a bit quickly for Thomas Berdych at the moment. He put a simple enough forehand volley into the net. Yeah,
he volleyed like a clay quarter there, unfortunately. Unlike a 1960s Australian grass court tennis player. Would never miss that volley.
That's what he was looking for. That's exactly what he was looking for on Rod Laver Arena.
Yeah, just channel the god.
Wrong hand, of course, but apart from that. Berdych serves right at Nadal onto the backhand and then goes down low to play a forehand up the line. Somehow Nadal got there and probably should have made the shot, given that he did get there, but he didn't get the elevation into the net. 15-30.
And a really tough forehand from Berdych and a great change of direction. Nadal zinging that return at his feet. He's able to change direction.
Dimitrov is serving to stay in the match on Melbourne Arena against TFO. As Berdych serves too long. It's 4-5, but 30-15 with Dimitrov. So it's on serve, but still, it's edgy for Grigor.
Tifo's just playing on emotion, isn't he? It's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, isn't it? Berdych going flat back across the court and then down the line with his backhand. There's a slice from Nadal, slice from Berdych. This one's okay. Up the line from Nadal on a more conventional backhand. Forced to defensively just put a backhand up the line. Nadal, he was out of court, out of position. There was Berdych again for the volley, but he netted again.
Yeah, and that's a little heartbreaking for Berdych. It's what he's got to do. He's got to be able to come in when he's got Nadal on stretch. But boy, you've got to make those volleys, eh? For someone of his skill level, that's a winnable shot right there.
You just have to make that. Berdych then serving to Nadal, slices this back into play. Berdych again advances on the net and this time gets some reward because he doesn't have to make a volley. Nadal put it into the net.
Yeah, he's just got to ask your opponent, can you please hit it into the net while I advance in and come on into the net?
Just put it into the net, please.
Nadal ruining a missed opportunity there, especially after your opponent just missed a couple volleys. Comes in again, you've got to make him hit. Continue the pressure. Break point number 2.
Thomas Berdych down the far end, serves.
Left for service.
Deuce in that game between Dimitrov and TFO at 4-5. On serve between Kerber and Collins in the second set after Collins took the first 6 love. Berdych serves a long way wide and a long way long. On break point down. And also love 3 down against Nadal. Second ball's okay. Attacking this a little bit is Nadal, but didn't get enough on it. But it didn't really matter because Berdych put a hopeless-looking forehand into the net. And that is a bit of a capitulation from a man who sort of bounced into this match in pretty decent form. And, okay, Nadal's been hitting his spots, but he hasn't been unbeatable. Berdych had a break point in the opening game, but it's 4-love Nadal.
Could have easily been 2-all. And a little interesting tactical play from Nadal. They're normally on that ad side. On a second serve, he's a long way back returning, trying to get a forehand. That one, he was able to get a forehand. He ran around it, but was well inside the baseline to strike that one. A little different territory for him. Got the result, though.
Serving at 4-love, Nadal forced to pick this up. Would have been on the half volley, but it's called out. No sense or sign of a challenge from Berdych. Head down, baseball cap on. He fiddles with his strings and is ready to receive. Nadal at 15-love, dressed in orange sleeveless shirt, sometimes called a muscle shirt, and white shorts. Serves to the forehand of Berdych, who does pretty well, takes it fairly early, comes back. Nadal's in the mid-court and finds an extraordinary angle cross-court.
Wow, I think Berdych did unbelievably well to get a sharp angle on his forehand that landed inside the service box, pulled Nadal well outside the double sideline, but he's just gone chick-chick-boom with a two-hander at 139 kilometres per hour, ripping it cross-court.
Just watch that, admire it, and move on. 30-love. Missed that by a long way.
We're not worthy, Rafa. We're not worthy.
5-all, TFO and Dimitrov in the third. Nadal serves, forehand response from Berdych. Yeah, that was pretty good. Pretty low over the net. May have even just tinily clipped the tape. Something seemed to put Nadal off, though, and he hoiked his forehand wide into the tram lines.
And that's a really good option on the return for Berdych, to hit it as hard as he can, straight up the middle of the court and as deep as he can. That way it just eliminates a little bit of the angles that Nadal can play with. You give Nadal a little bit of room, he can really hurt you with his cross-court angles.
30-15, 4-love as Nadal serves. Backhand from Berdych is okay. Lands in the mid-court. Nadal really didn't do much with that, though, and is now forced to run just to stay in the point. Berdych could hammer this away cross-court. Forced to pick up an awkward half-volley. Nadal at the net goes for too tight an angle across in front of Berdych and just puts it into the tram lines.
Yeah, good work from Berdych.
30.
Sneaking his way into the net. And did really well on the half volley.
Oh, it almost did his shoe at the same time.
Almost was behind him, and Nadal got there. Could have, should have, probably done a little bit better with that little drop shot. It's got the power, kind of lacks a little bit of the feel around and finesse around at the net.
Yep.
You're allowed to, Rafa.
I think so. Got to be the odd weakness, haven't you?
That's it.
4-love 30 all. Serve down the middle, just missed.
Right, here's a chance for Berdych. Second serve. I'd like to see him go hard up the middle here on the return, if he gets a chance.
I think there's some... I think he's pointing at the cameras there, taking photos of him as he's preparing to serve a second serve anyway. Catches the net cord. I don't know, though. Most photographers wouldn't be taking a photograph at that stage, would they? As you're just about to serve?
They actually do get that whole motion, the service motion.
Okay.
You do hear them clicking away.
Serve lands this onto the backhand of Berdych. It was out, though, so he did go hard and deep up the middle of the court, but he missed it.
40-30.
So I think we can safely say from Mark's advice, correct tactics, wrong execution.
Yeah, and he's forced into that, so he's got to take that on the chin. You're going to make a few errors like that. But right idea, deuce and the second serve. The problem is now you face a game point.
We'll pop across to Jeff at Margaret Court Arena at the conclusion of this game, whenever that is, and it's right now because Nadal serves an ace out wide for an imposing 5-love lead in the opening set on Rod Laver Arena. Let's go across to Margaret Court Arena, where Danielle Collins is giving Angelique Kerber an almighty scare, at the very least, if not more, Jeff. Ranked American in the draw there.
And she's played several years of college tennis in America, that environment of team, and you could hear her giving her the big come on there as we're listening to that report, and she thrives in the heat of battle like that and loves that kind of atmosphere. So, wow. Could be a big upset for the tournament.
There's a bit going on for American tennis right now at Melbourne Park. Not so good for Czech tennis at the moment because Thomas Berdych is in a massive hole here in the first set against Rafael Nadal. It's love 5 and love 15. The other reason for the mention of the Americans is Tiafoe and Dimitrov. Tiafoe 2 sets to love up in that fourth round match and 5 all in the third as Berdych serves to Nadal's backhand, pushing it straight back down the middle of the court. That looked long off the racket from Berdych and it was out. He's got a... actually, I've got no advice for him, but he's got to do exactly what he hasn't done in this first set.
He needs to walk out the gate and then come back in and pretend that never happened. Geez, it'd be rare to get 2 6-love sets like this on these show courts.
Really would, wouldn't it? He needs to do a Kerber. At the moment, Nadal rolls the top spin there on the forehand and again going cross-court. Berdych covers those two. Should go in the opposite corner after those 2 shots, though, and it does. And it won't surprise you to learn it was a clean winner.
And I did say it was going to be a danger match for Rafa. Maybe the danger is he may fall asleep or get bored. That's the only danger I can find right now. Tomic Berdych is 3 set points down, 5 love.
Wow. Berdych serves into the net. His even for a man of his experience, this is a career low against Nadal. If he could lose this set in just 27 minutes, 6-love.
Would have been a long time since that had happened.
Berdych serves, and Nadal has a real go at this on the forehand, forcing Berdych back. There's a Nadal forehand again. Berdych on the run, goes into the opposite corner. Nadal there, again on the backhand, moving inside the baseline to hit a forehand winner up the line. And he has walloped Thomas Berdych in 27 minutes, 6 games to love. And if it doesn't sound that fast, you've got to remember this is Rafael Nadal, who does nothing quickly. Nothing.
It takes him 25 minutes to cook 2-minute noodles. That's how slow he is.
I'm going to look back and see if he's ever done that before.
Wow.
6-love. Wowza.
But the thing, well, he's walking off the court to change his shirt there, Rafa. So he's going, even though he's cruising, he's going through his routines and making sure he's going to be prepared for that second set.
I can tell you
So I'll just keep a little eye on that. Even there waiting for baseline, he was hitting his thigh with his racket. I don't know if that was a Kickstarter or maybe something into that. So we'll just keep track of how he's moving and how he's feeling.
59.
Well, he's not going to enjoy that first serve from Nadal. That was walloped down at 191. It had a bit of zip on it. A great, superb placement right down the middle and spinning away. Berdych could hardly touch it. 15-love. So the first set, Nadal by 6 games to love. And the same for Collins over Kerber on Margaret Court Arena. And we'll get back to Jeff shortly. Jeff Field, who's keeping an eye on that one because as Nadal does brilliantly to win that point with a backhand cross-court and a tight angle, the second seed and 2016 champion is in enormous trouble against the 25-year-old American Danielle Collins. But we won't do that right in the middle of a game, clearly, because Nadal is serving at 30 love here. Goes to the forehand there of Berdych. He just pushes that back into play a little bit passively, really, to be honest. And it's Nadal who's generating most of the pace here, and things are not improving quickly for Berdych right now.
He is struggling to find the court and struggling to find a tactic on what he can do against Nadal. Nadal is just all over the shop here. Kind of feel for Berdych. And the bad news is Nadal's serving first in the set.
And he's hammered that away. And Ace, it gives us a quick chance to go over and get a 30-second update from Jeff Field at Margaret Court Arena. Jeff.
Yes, 6-love, Steve, and it's now 4-2, 15 all in this game. Danielle Collins, the young American. Angelique Kerber has completely lost her confidence. She seems to have lost her rhythm. She's looking up at her box, throwing her hands up in the air as if to say, what can I do? The double-fisted backhand, double-handed backhand, cross-court, down the line from Collins. In fact, on both sides has been absolutely sensational. Taking the ball early, and Angelique Kerber is in big trouble. 6-love, 4-2 to Danielle Collins. Back to centre court, Rod Laver Arena.
Thanks, Jeff. Jeff Field there, keeping an eye on the trials and tribulations of Angelique Kerber, the German second seed, who is a set and 4-2 down to Danielle Collins. At the moment, she might be catching up for a drink with Thomas Berdych a bit later to commiserate with each other, because he is enduring a horror run. We've played 7 games and Berdych has not won one of them.
Yeah, that's not ideal. And the monitor is showing the poor ball kid that ran into Berdych as well. So it's all going pear-shaped.
Oh, and Thomas didn't. He had a little bit of a smile about it, but I'm not sure he wholeheartedly enjoyed that. With new balls.
He almost went down like a soccer player there.
That would have really just added to the drama after Spidercam decided to demolish the top half of the umpire's chair at the end of the previous match between Ash Barty and Maria Sharapova. All right, Berdych wins that point, taking Nadal out wide onto a backhand, and Nadal nets.
There'll be a few women in the draw looking at that match with Collins and Kerber, just going, ooh, that's nice.
And also probably thinking at the same time that Danielle Collins is pretty dangerous.
Yes, yeah. You never want to float her like that in the draw.
On the verge of the quarterfinals. She's 5 points away of beating Kerber. Here, Berdych plays a forehand down the middle of the court. Nadal is ready for that and gets some good depth, and that's a hopeless shot from Berdych. No reason to spray that backhand out wide.
Poor Berdych just looks lost out there at the moment. Tactically, it's hard to see what he's trying to do against Nadal. I guess all he can do is really just stay in the rally, keep Nadal back.
It was called in, but quickly overruled by the umpire, and 0 challenge from Thomas, who really hasn't said a word or made any noise whatsoever to do with his performance to this point, as Nadal just pushes that back into play. Landed very short. Berdych goes with the forehand down the line. There's a slice from Nadal. Again, doesn't get great depth on that. On the run, Nadal, that was superb. Also from Berdych, low down with the first volley. The second volley, the Czech can't make it. That point sprang to life.
Wow, and you got a feel for Berdych there. He played a great approach shot that had Nadal on full stretch, but that doesn't mean anything, because Nadal was able to manufacture a really high-quality passing shot that had Berdych on stretch and unable to control the volley. You cannot get a ball past this guy. He'll make a good goalkeeper.
15-30 out wide from Berdych. His head is down, the shoulders are a little slumped. He needs to get on the board desperately here. Serves quite soft. Nadal attacks this right near the baseline, picks up on the half volley very well by Berdych. Nadal somehow got there and just pushed that enough past Nadal, who stuck out a racket but could only deflect it towards the cameraman he's already had an argument with.
Already.
Probably wasn't an accident. Well, I'll give them a bit of taste of their own medicine. I'll just bash that at them. No, nicely done by Berdych. Didn't overplay that. Just got the placement of the shot right. 30 all.
Come on. First game right here, Berdych. Big first serve. Into the net, unfortunately. And it was big. It was 205 Ks.
Dimitrov has won the third set, so they've gone into a fourth there between Tiafoe and Dimitrov on Melbourne Arena. We'll keep you right across that scoreline in men's fourth round action. Nice return from Nadal, low over the net. On the run, Nadal also makes that one. Beautiful low down volley from Berdych. Can he put away the backhand? Smash overhead. It's a tough shot. It is missable, and Berdych missed it.
Yeah, and Berdych's response after that miss, hands up in the air, head hung low. He's doing everything right. He's getting to situations where he can win the rally, but he just can't hit that last shot in. And Nadal, great defensive skills. Break point again. And a second serve for Nadal.
Too long down the middle from Berdych on the first serve. Just pretty much all in white with the odd scull here and there. He's in enormous trouble here. Break point down. Serves, lands it in. Nadal meets that with a backhand, pushing it back fairly powerfully. Clips the tape just from Berdych, but stays in. Then the sliced defensive forehand lands on the baseline. Nadal opens up for a wonderful topspin forehand winner deep in the corner. And the 8th game goes the way of the previous 7, and they're all to the Spaniard.
Well, I guess Berdych lost 16 times before he had a win.
I think
so 16 out of, yeah.
Can you add those up?
17. Oh, yeah. Yep.
That's a lot of Nadals.
I guess the longer it goes out here, the more chance he has of winning one game. And as Nadal looked up to his support crew, little Carlos Moya had a little sly grin on his face there.
Mark, we haven't had a lot of big surprises and big shocks in this Australian Open to this point on day 7, but there is a huge one brewing on Margaret Court Arena. Daniel Collins is 2 points away from ousting Kerber. We've got Jeff there keeping an eye on things. We'll get back to him shortly. As Rafa Nadal goes cross-court here with the double-handed backhand. Berdych does really well to land it in the corner, but Nadal's covering everything at the moment until he misses that forehand up the line.
Love 15.
Come on, Rafa, how could you miss that?
Love 15.
Well, the umpire's having a little bit of trouble with his microphone. He's signalling to the tournament ref that the microphone's gone down. So he's gone old school by just yelling out the score. And 2 match points for Danielle Collins on Kerber's serve.
OK, let's go to Jeff Field at Margaret Court Arena.
2 match points, as you said. Kerber serves into the net first serve. Danielle Collins, let's just hope she doesn't tighten up at this stage, because she's played so well off both sides, forehand and backhand. That's a forehand cross court. Kerber gets down her usual customary on her knees. She whacks it backhand, and it's a forehand across court. This is match point, and it's a little chip shot, and that is it. A little chip shot to Danielle Collins. Danielle Collins has upset the number 2 seed Angelique Kerber, 3-time major winner. Danielle Collins has won here at the Australian Open to book herself a spot in the quarterfinals. Well done to Danielle. 6-love, 6-2. First set took 20 minutes. The second set, 36 minutes. So just under an hour. This 26-year-old American, ranked 35 in the world, has taken out what you'd have to say is the biggest seed to go here at the Australian Open. Back to Rod Laver Arena, Stephen Mark.
Thanks, Jeff Field at Margaret Court Arena. An enormous upset on this Sunday afternoon. Angelique Kerber, many people's, including mine, tip for the title. The German second seed has been not only knocked out, Mark, she has been dumped out of the tournament by Danielle Collins, the American. 6-love, 6-2. You name me one person who saw that result coming.
Yeah, that's 12 games to 2, and you wouldn't pick that in a blue fit. But, wow, that's great.
Wow.
And that, well, you know, when you look at it, it's a number 2 player, and where's Collins at 20?
35.
35. So, you know, Collins can play. You got to be able to win and string matches together to get that kind of ranking. Fantastic effort.
That is an amazing result. Here it's 30 all on the Nadal serve. He's a break of serve up in the second set. That's a brilliant forehand down the line.
Now, I'm calling it early. The way Nadal's going, this second set potentially could be another 6-love set.
Oh, it could.
The way it's going. It is. He just doesn't look like missing. And the thing that I like about Nadal right now, he is just so focused and intense. You would normally think you would, you know, relax a little bit, take the foot off the gas, but he is full throttle.
40-30 serves into the net. It was love 30 in this game, and Berdych just had a sniff. He's not out of this game yet, but it's not looking as good as it was. He lost the first set 6-love, Thomas Berdych. Danielle Collins beats Angelique Kerber. Wow. Okay, Nadal serves and too flat into the net from Berdych. Completes what has been the flattest 9 games of his career against Rafael Nadal. He has lost all of them. It is 6-love, 3-love. We might get this match done in an hour and 20 minutes if this keeps going. And Nadal does not win a lot of matches in an hour and 20 minutes. Trails Rafael Nadal, so we'll call it love 6 and love 3 because it is Thomas who's serving right in front of us. Nadal gets this back on a single-handed backhand, defensively back into play. Berdych tries to go right behind him, and Nadal hoiks it wide. All right, that's a little bit better. That's what Thomas wants to see.
Yeah, well, the good news is, Tommy, you're winning this game.
It'll be Danielle Collins' first quarter-final. She's never been past the first round of a major before.
That's great.
Don't you love it?
This tournament seems to always throw some kind of drama, some kind of story up every single year. Never fails.
56 minutes. Not a bad afternoon's work. Nadal picks us up on the backhand, running round onto his forehand. Berdych finds the baseline. Nadal can handle that. Much shorter that time from Berdych. Nadal there, comfortable. Forehand from Berdych. Nice angle, goes cross-court. Nadal chooses to go up the line, but misses it wide into the tram lines.
I guess it's 6-love, 3-love. You're allowed to try to go for that shot. Probably not the right, ideal choice of shot in that situation. Do we know that little quarter who will play Collins next?
We do, but just give me 2 shakes of a lamb's tail.
It'll be really. The reason why I asked is it'll be really interesting to see how she responds and how she backs up after a win like that. Sometimes the emotions are super high.
So it'll be Sloane Stephens or was it Sasnovich or Sasnovich, wasn't it? Berdych here is at 40-love. Let's finish this game off first, Mark, and then we'll just do some further investigation on who's what and who's who in the zoo. Berdych serves. Nadal gets the backhand right back at Berdych, who picks that up pretty calmly on the forehand. Nadal moving Berdych around here, but Berdych's covering okay on the forehand cross-court. Is he going to reach that? Just Berdych gets there, but he can't get it back to the net. So Nadal gets that back to 40-15.
Still 2 more opportunities for Berdych to finally hold serve.
It is Sloane Stephens or Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova.
Ooh.
Which on paper sounds okay, that's winnable, but Sloane Stephens is a very strong player, and that's not to say Pavlyuchenkova won't get the better of her, but there could be missed wide for Berdych. There could be Sloane Stephens, the 2017 US Open champ, waiting for Danielle, but American tennis wouldn't complain.
No.
If that's the outcome.
That's a great outcome.
Well, Berdych's double faulted, and this has gone from 40 love to 40-30, and you can't tell me there's not a few gremlins in Thomas's head right now.
Yeah, he is scrambled eggs up there right now. You think you're home and hosed at 40 love, and then all of a sudden 2 sloppy points.
There's going to be an enormous cheer if Thomas can win a game here.
There'll be a Mexican wave, I reckon.
Berdych serves. Nadal gets the backhand right back at him. Berdych returns the favour. Cross-court. Nadal up the line. Berdych struggling to get that is Nadal, but he does get there. Berdych goes back across court. Nadal nets. And listen to the crowd.
Berdych fist pumps as well. He's laughing.
Now there's a smile from Thomas.
Oh, that's got to make you feel better. He appreciates the crowd support.
Berdych's won a game.
He's actually having a good old chuckle. Rafa up the other end is not laughing at all. He's fuming. He's upset with himself for missing that forehand up the line.
Well, of course, Nadal's been around long enough to know 6 loves counts for nothing once it's done. It's just a set, and he's up 1 break in the second set. That's the way he's looking at it, and probably thinks he should have had a double break. Serving at 3-1.
Net for service.
The 2009 champion.
Could this be start of something for Thomas Berdych? I'm willing him on. Come on.
There's a huge pause on Margaret Court Arena because Marin Cilic and Roberto Bautista can't come on before 5 o'clock. So the court's going to sit sort of, half empty for 45 minutes. Nice return that time from Berdych, forcing Nadal back. Oh, and there's a nice angle on the off forehand. Here goes Berdych.
Maybe that's what he needed, a little bit of a smile, change of mood.
Definitely needed to win a game. 1 breakdown in the second set. Hang in here. Nothing is predictable in tennis, as Danielle Collins has proven once again this afternoon. Nadal serves into the net. Not much happening in the TFO Dimitrov match, so that's very early stages of the 4th set. We'll keep you right across that one as well this afternoon, and then into this evening's 4th round matches. Good return from Berdych there. Ooh, leaving the court open. Nadal mishit though and left himself open for Berdych to hit the off forehand winner. And it's love 30 again on the Nadal serve.
So that's 3 points in a row. That's the first time Berdych has won 3 points in a row for a very long time. So maybe he's almost conceding this set and just loosening up the shoulders, loosening up the body and swinging freely.
I don't think he'd be giving up the set right now, do you? I mean, one break down, and he's only a couple of points from breaking here, and he's back on track. Nadal serves right on time for the shot clock.
15.
Literally 1 second left when the time disappeared. And he wins the point, 30-15.
And we do have the smartest listening audience in the world, because Tahir, who's in Birmingham, UK, if he remembers correctly, Sloane Stephens was bageled by Venus Williams in the semi-finals of the US Open in 2017, went on to win.
Okay.
Thank you very much indeed.
Do we have to check that? I suppose we do, don't we? I mean, Nadal advancing on the net puts away the winner.
It was said, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's the only part that concerns me. It feels like, as journalists, we should really check, shouldn't we? I mean, we should.
That's the difference. You're the journalist. I'm just I'm just a common man. And I'm going, wow, that sounds very intelligent. I'll back that guy.
Yeah, just a dude. Okay, so we're looking at Venus Williams and Sloane in the semi-final. Court. Was it semis?
Semis, 2017.
Okay.
Nadal, big first serve up the middle. Yep, gets a free point off the backhand return from Berdych.
So it's gone exactly like the previous game when Nadal found himself at love 30, and it's gone bang, 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 and Nadal at 40-30. And now has a point for 4-1.
So Berdych winning 3 points in a row. Nadal's back at 3 points in a row, hoping for the 4th to take the game, to take it to 4-1.
Nadal serves onto the backhand return is Berdych up the line. Nadal, Berdych's there to cover. Then centrally and flattened out by Berdych on a couple of big forehands, and the final one is the inside-out forehand to win it in the opposite corner, in Nadal's forehand corner. Nicely done.
And finally, Berdych is able to get himself close to the baseline to hit these ground strokes, forcing Nadal a little bit further back in the court, a little bit more of a defensive position. His shots land a little bit lower. and that allows Berdych to get inside and hit that winner at deuce.
Nadal serves. Backhand from Berdych is well wide, and there'll be another game point for Nadal. Well, good news for our texter. Tahir. Sloane Stephens did indeed won 6-1, love 6, 7-5 against Venus Williams in the US Open semi-final, 8th of September 2017, and as we all know, Sloane went on to win. Nice work, Tahir.
And we have the smartest listening audience ever.
Absolutely, we do.
This program.
Nadal holds there as Berdych's response goes long. Now, will you be dispatching Tahir's prize for him?
Yes, I will hand deliver it. I know you're in Birmingham, England. I'll be there some stage this year.
We'll get the Haagen-Dazs off in the post.
Yes, well, we have another one. As he's done every match, hands one towel to the ball kid in the right-hand side and then hands the other towel to the ball kid in the left-hand side. The old laundry bill will be going through the roof these couple of weeks, all these towels.
Certainly will. Okay, roll.
And all the towels being thrown to the crowd post-match by the winner.
2006, what happened there?
Very polite from Nadal there, holding up the crowd. Here we go, Berdych, 1-4. Can he hold serve from the far end?
That's the question. 4 serves a fault. Now it's 2-all between TFO and Dimitrov in the 4th round match on Melbourne Arena. Here it's love 6, 1-4. Berdych serving to Nadal, who runs out of the way of that and plays a backhand very short. Berdych advances on the net. Nadal goes up the line with ease.
Yeah, not enough on that approach shot and not really committed to coming in. Berdych only made the service line by the time the ball had passed him. You've got to come in with a little bit more hustle than that, Mr. Berdych. Otherwise, that's too easy a pass. Love 15.
Berdych serves to the Nadal backhand again. Running around his forehand is Berdych to hit it across the court. Up the line goes Nadal, not with the same sort of power on this occasion. Then cross court. Berdych scurrying to reach this. He left himself open in the other corner, but there wasn't enough on it from Nadal. And now Berdych moves Nadal around, catches the tape and flies near the baseline from the Spaniard. Lands in. He says sorry, but really it was a decent shot that deserved to be a winner and just caught the net.
Nadal has got the ball on an absolute string. He is able to do anything today. Almost feels like it's one of those days. Whatever you try seems to work. Berdych responds, though, with a monster first serve straight down the tee. Nadal unable to do anything except give him a little friendly nod. So it's great serving there, chap.
A friendly nod. 15:30 then as Berdych sets himself to serve. But just long, it was.
Oh, Nadal's knocked his drink bottle over. He won't be happy.
He won't be happy.
He'll go and attend to that.
Serve lands in. Backhand from Nadal. Very short again. So Berdych goes down the line. Nadal defends with a slice up the other flank. Nadal can go cross court and bamboozled Berdych. He wasn't expecting that. And it was a really awkward looking volley from Berdych, which flew out into the tram lines. And guess what, Mark? There's break point.
Break point. I don't mind the fact that Berdych is coming in.
The water bottle has been corrected.
Yes, and by one of the ball kids. And Nadal gave him a deathly stare like, hey, it's not the way it's meant to be placed.
But it's close enough, I'll take it. Serve from Berdych is, okay, but it's just flown long beyond the baseline.
Yeah, as I was saying, I don't mind the fact Berdych coming in. He needs to come in, but he's not really changing speed as he's coming in. He's only getting around the service line, and not the greatest volleyer. The closer you can get in, the easier it's going to make your job.
Still break point as Berdych serves. Just too long and too wide. So he's putting himself under a little pressure here. Again. Berdych serves. He lands this in the box. Nadal has a bit of a go at it, but made a bit of a hash of it, in fact. And not much of a change of facial expression. Asks for the towel right in front of our commentary box. Towels himself down. Dispatches the towel back to said ball girl, who runs back to the corner, and Berdych's ready.
A good move again from Nadal inside the baseline on that second serve return. I like it.
At deuce, Berdych serves out wide, too wide. Orange shoes, orange top. Rafa, ready, standing pretty close to the baseline here, and just jumps inside, as Mark was saying, to play the backhand down the line, and Berdych just squirming that ball wide. And
that's what happens when Nadal steps inside the court. He flattens the shot out. It gets back to the server in a much quicker time frame, and that caught Berdych unawares and unable to control the shot.
Berdych serves again. A fault. Caught beautifully on the first bounce by the cameraman. One of those ones who was asked to stop clicking. Doesn't know what to do with the ball, so he puts it down beside him, and Berdych lands the second ball in. Nadal this time has shot straight back at Berdych. Pair into a rally now from the baseline. Nadal going cross-court. Backhand from Berdych. Back behind him goes Nadal. Berdych corrects brilliantly to play a nice backhand. Gets some good depth. Nadal going cross-court on the backhand. Again, Berdych's there. Up the line for the game in supreme style by Rafael Nadal to win the game and open up a 5-1 lead. He's broken through Berdych's serve yet again.
Wow.
This is a demolition act for those lucky enough to see it on Rod Laver Arena or listen to it around the world on AO Radio.
And wherever Thomas hits the ball, Nadal is there. And not only there, he's balanced, he's in control. And like that last shot, he was able to set his feet up and just pull the trigger and let it rip. That backhand up the line. Berdych, no chance of even getting it, didn't even bother moving.
After 59 minutes, Nadal is serving for the second set. I don't know that anyone's ever said that before.
No, I think Nadal's got something in the oven back at his apartment, and he needs to get back just to check if it's okay. He's in record speed.
On to the backhand of Berdych. Nadal's inside the court, but now he backpedals to his more favoured spot, goes up the line. Berdych defensively keeps this ball in play. Nadal going cross-court with the forehand. He hammered it hard enough and accurately enough that Berdych couldn't deal with it.
And what I love about Nadal, he just plays the most intense and focused point he can each and every time, irrelevant of the score. Yep. So, you'd forgive him 6-love, 5-1, 15-love, and have a little bit of smile and joke around and noticeably change his intensity. No way. Not today.
It's not the way he plays, is it? Nicely met by Berdych fairly early there, hammered it back, and Nadal was ready to hit the winner, but just overhit it just slightly.
Wow. And that is the best way to play tennis. Just play the most absolute intense focus point and then repeat and repeat and repeat. Trying to let the score bother you.
TFO and Dimitrov at 3-all in the fourth. That match just gets closer and closer here. Nadal going with a forehand just inside the court, cross-court. Nicely done by Berdych up the line. Found a good depth on that. And then Nadal completely wrong-footing Berdych. Went up the line with the forehand. Berdych was heading into the opposite corner and he skidded to a halt, and that's where it ended.
Yeah, percentages say Nadal from 2.1 kilometres back behind the baseline would go cross-court, but decided to play a little cheeky one up the line for the winner.
30-15, 5-1 in the second set. Serves to Berdych's backhand. He's going to go up the line here for a beautiful winner, and he does make that look easy, but it's not. It's a change of direction shot with superb accuracy.
And pace, and that brings up 2 set points. 40-15, 5-1.
After an hour and 1 minute. Serves to Berdych, and that's an ace, and that is 2 utterly dominant sets of tennis from Rafael Nadal. Barely can he have ever put together an hour of tennis like that against one of the top players in the world, and a contemporary that he has played so often and who could occasionally cause him some problems. But my word, that is outstanding from Rafael Nadal. 6-love, 6-1. He leads 2-0. It's an enormous journey back from here for Berdych. He'd be happy to win a couple more games.
Yeah, the only thing Berdych can hope for is, as Nadal potentially might leave the court, that he trips over, hurts himself and can't come back to play, because that's the only thing that's going to stop Nadal at the moment. Berdych just does not...
The net. He has won one game in the first 2 sets, Thomas Berdych. And then no more need be said apart from that, apart from he must hold here to try and get away to a better start in the third. Misses the first serve there down the middle.
Yeah, it's hard to know what he can do differently here. Just slow things down, slow the pace down a little bit.
Cut out the errors. Not easy against Nadal, though. He's not going to give much, you wouldn't imagine. Backhand into the opposite corner. Berdych there comfortably. Just seems to be lacking a little bit in intensity, Berdych, and there's some from Nadal, but cross-court also from Berdych. Slice, sort of half-drop shot from Nadal didn't work. Berdych got there easily and slammed away a backhand winner. Literally slammed it away. Still on serve, TFO and Dimitrov in the fourth.
Berdych has just got the perfect poker face happening today. You would know by looking at his facial expressions that he's won one game out of 12. But I'm sure underneath that and in his mind, it's not a happy camper.
He just has to look at this as 2 sets down, and here we go again. And if he can hold here at 30-love, he's going to lead in this set. That's the only positive way to look at it. Nadal on the run, going with the forehand, skipping inside Berdych, but then he retreats and gets a gift-wrapped present from Nadal, who just dumps a backhand into the net.
Yeah, it's a matter of is Berdych wanting to stay out there for 4 hours and willing to do the work required just to try to lengthen out this match as long as possible. And the longer he stays out there, the greater chance he has of pushing Rafa. And that is a hold to serve.
Nadal was moving towards the tee. He was guessing Berdych was going centrally, but he went wide, and Berdych is allowing himself a little smile there to say, all righty, here we go.
He's looking like he's just won the lottery.
Yeah.
And he's in front for the first time in over an hour.
In a set.
Okay. On the scoreboard, 1-love. Let's just stop it at there.
Well, so...
he has all the momentum now in this opening in the third set.
He does. Well, you never know. Nadal's serve is far from unbreakable, and we've seen it over the years broken many times, especially on hard courts and grass. Berdych, if he can keep his mind clear, there is a way back. But it's a brutal-looking scoreline at the moment as Nadal throws the first towel to the first ball girl. The second ball girl will receive the second towel. About now.
And they do a clean swap.
Yep.
You give me the towel and I'll give you the tennis balls.
Balls head onto the racket. Already got 2, takes the third. Quick squiz. One will get pummeled away. There it is.
I'll take the 2 round ones. Leave that square one behind.
Down to 10 seconds, but he's going to beat the clock here. Nadal ready to serve, and does so down the middle for an ace.
So I've been lucky to commentate on all Rafa's matches thus far, and just by observing, I don't know the numbers, and I haven't looked at his percentages and his ability to win points on his serves, but it looks like a weapon.
Yeah.
It's definitely looking better, and it is getting 3 points.
It's hard. Is it got just? He's won that as easily as Berdych just netted. Does it have a little bit more pop, or is it all in the placement, or a bit of spin?
It seems to definitely have more pace. Well, looking at the radar clock, that one at 192 kilometres per hour. So I'm feeling like that he's generating more power. And that's bad news for his opponent because he's hitting his serves better, tougher to return. You get a little bit weaker response. And Nadal's first shot is always super aggressive.
Nice backhand there from Berdych, low over the net, also from Nadal. And then on the run, Nadal plays a forehand cross-court. Berdych covers with a backhand. Berdych then goes with a forehand cross-court. Nadal finds a nice angle, too much for Berdych to handle.
40 love.
I think it's something Nadal had to do there, because I've noticed it, especially in his last couple of defeats to Roger Federer, that it's his serve that becomes vulnerable after a period of time, and Federer really attacks it.
Yeah, and and that's great from him at the stage of his career, going, I need to do this. I still believe I've got a lot to achieve and a lot to win.
Well, he's only 32. No reason why not. Picked up on the half volley by Nadal there at 40 love, and Berdych kindly slams a forehand into the net, so Nadal doesn't have to do anything else there. And also to someone who's prone to injuries, and especially at this event where he's been beset by all sorts of injury problems over the years, a really quick match here would do him no harm at all.
He'd probably get into the gym and smash himself on the gym just to say, I've got a bit of a workout, and it feels like a normal day. This might even feel like just a day off for Mr. Nadal.
Well, I mean, gym work is always more preferable probably to the concrete court work that Nadal sometimes has to put in here. He slices down the line, but it's gone too long.
15 long.
So Nadal faces the winner of that Tiafoe and Dimitrov match. So everything's looking good for Nadal, in the sense that they're playing a long match as well. Whoever comes through that, they will have played at least 4 long sets, if not 5, depending on what happens there.
Yeah, Dimitrov is 4-3 up in the 4th set, and that juice. So potentially going, and he's got a break point to go 5-3, so potentially could go the distance.
Cross-court Berdych there, and then also cross-court on the forehand. Nadal gets there on the backhand to meet that Berdych shot. Nice play from Berdych, though, at the net, puts away the winner, backhand. Nicely done. I mean, Nadal he won't be thinking ahead to this yet, but obviously the most likely semi-final opponent, if he makes it that far, is Roger Federer. So the more energy and fitness and top form he can take into that contest, the better, because although he still bosses that head-to-head, it's not as good as it once was, courtesy of the last couple of years. Nadal too long with that backhand, and there's potentially a couple of easy service games for Thomas Berdych here.
Well done. Take my hat off to Berdych here, just focusing on holding serve. A couple of good quality first serves, getting some free points.
40 love, the Czech player.
It finishes with a big ace
nicely
out wide.
done, Thomas Berdych.
The bronze cheer from the crowd and from yourself.
Well, no, that was nicely done.
Yeah.
You have to say, I mean, he's come out in this third set just trying to reset and say, OK, I'm 2 sets to love down. It's been embarrassing, but the third set's not going to be embarrassing, and that seems to be what he's taking into it. And it's on serve, Nadal to serve at 1-2 in the third set shortly. So this is not Nadal's match at all yet. I mean, if he can get a break ahead in this set, then okay, everything changes a little. But
you can't change what's happened the first 2 sets, but you can definitely have an impact on what can happen right now. So just got to get rid of that, and that goes to any tournament play. If you lose a set, that's fine. You always got to just clear, get rid of the baggage, and refocus on what's at hand. And he's in front, which is good.
Exactly right. Rod Laver is in the house. In fact, he's sitting just behind Rafael Nadal, where he's serving up the far end, away from our commentary box. So Thomas Berdych settles down to receive. It's 1-2 in the third set, the first 2 sets to Nadal in this 4th round match. Nadal misses down the middle. It is 4-all, TFO and Dimitrov in the 4th set. Oh, Thomas decided to run around that body serve and play a forehand, but he was lucky to get a racket on it, I'd suggest.
And that's a really good second serve from Nadal there. We're using that left-handed swinging service action, starting it out to the forehand side and just chasing the body as Thomas tried to get out of the way. 15 love.
Nadal serves, goes out wide, but he just misses his mark there. Steve Pearce and Mark Helawati with you on AO Radio, live around the world and around Australia. Although Australia is part of the world. Second serve lands in, sliced return from Berdych, lands on the baseline, flattens this out with the backhand now, and Nadal meets it with a forehand stroke of his own. On the run, forehand cross court. Berdych there trying to go over the high part of the net, fails to do so.
And that's the tough thing for us right-handers when they play Nadal. He hooks you out of court so far with that left-handed forehand. It's almost so tempting to try to go down the line, but it's not the easiest shot when you're way out that far. Almost in the photographer's pit. 30 love to Nadal.
Nadal serves out wide, and again, Berdych just gets a racket on this, but he's unable to control it.
So Dimitrov has a 40-15 lead at 4-all in that 4th set. Looking to hold serve.
Nadal serves onto the forehand of Berdych at 40 love, and up the line for a lovely winner. And he levels the third set up at 2 games all at this point. Now, if you want to get in touch with us, it's aoradio@tennis.com.au, or you can use the Ask the Booth form, which is a web form on the media section at the bottom of the media section. You go through the app, and if you're listening through any of our partner stations, Vision Australia, Tune In, TalkSport, ESPN, ATP Tennis Radio, however you're listening to us, or just through the website, it is lovely having your company here on a beautiful Sunday afternoon in Melbourne.
Perfect day for a game of tennis.
Sure
a friendly game of tennis.
Not that friendly, though. Berdych serving here 2-all in the third. He's dropped the first 2 sets. Big forehand. Did he make it? Yes, he did. Perfectly. Right near the sideline. And the baseline, for that matter.
And Nadal, after holding serve, ran to the chair to change rackets, pull out a racket with a fresh restring. Players would, especially the guys going 5 sets, would come to the match with probably about 5 or 6 freshly strung rackets.
Loopy backhand return from Nadal, lands safely inside the baseline. Now Berdych just pulls a backhand,
15-all.
probably a foot too wide. It's 15-all. Ravi and Kate will be here in a quarter of an hour or so to possibly take you through the rest of this match, or some other tennis, depending on how much Thomas holds in here. And digs in, probably is a better expression. Nice return from Nadal on the backhand, and then quickly up the line from Berdych. Nadal's there, straight at Nadal, though, with Thomas's approach. And it was one of those half-hearted ones you were talking about, Mark.
Yeah, unfortunately, that approach shot, I think, just took a bit of the top of the tape as Berdych was coming forward and slowed the ball down. And it just didn't get in fast enough again, only just making the service line.
Yeah, it's not enough, is it? Oh, was that just long? He had a good long hard look at that, decided not to challenge. Trouble here on the Berdych serve at 15:30. Nadal will be keen to get back in the locker room ASAP. Runs around this onto a forehand, pushes it straight back at Berdych, who hits it straight at Nadal. Bit more of an angle there from Nadal, down deep into Berdych's forehand corner. He tried to roll his wrist over that, found the net, and it's 2 break points for Rafael Nadal.
And Paul Berdych only had 1 break point, and Nadal has had 9 opportunities to break serve.
And Berdych was in the opening game of the match.
That's it.
Berdych serves, break point down into the tram lines. Bang. And the ball rebounds all the way across the court, much to the ball boy's disappointment.
That's right. And the ball kid's going back the long way home.
Oh, he went the long way. That's surprising. He was still running when Berdych hit that. Backhand from Nadal, back into play. Berdych advances on the net again and is forced into an awkward volley, but he did well. He did really well, Thomas Berdych there. I'm not sure he got in position A for that volley, but he made it, and it was too good for Rafa.
Wow, great stretch from Berdych at the net there. Full stretch and just throwing the racket at the ball did enough, but he's got to produce another quality point to save another break point. 30-40.
Rafa had another go at those cameramen again there. There's the ones down the other end. Oh, my word, Nadal, an utter miss-hit, and it's caught. Oh, no, it's dropped. Oh, they dropped it. It went back into about row H.
Security, throw that person out if they can't catch a tennis ball.
Oh. That was an awful attempt, because that was up in the air for a long time. Should have been taken.
Yeah.
Deuce. Good serving from Berdych. Poor shot from Nadal. This time he gets it right. Sits up, though, for Berdych to hammer it down the line. And there was just too much on that for Nadal from the shade at the back of the court. Not even he could make that passing shot there.
And it is a tradition here at Rod Laver Arena. When a ball does fly out to the crowd, Australians are generally pretty good at catching tennis balls.
Well, I mean, yeah, they should have been taken.
Yeah.
There's no question. Berdych serves just long. His advantage here, he's got a point for a 3-2 lead on serve. He's done really well to save 2 break points here against Nadal. That just caught the tape.
Second service.
5-all between Dimitrov and Tiafoe, so they do look like they're heading for that tiebreak to decide the 4th set, and possibly the match. As Berdych serves down the middle, Nadal meets this on the backhand, running round Berdych with some weight as well. Well defended by Nadal, but it did open itself up for Berdych to hit the cross-court forehand winner. And he hangs on there, and he's doing it well in the 3rd set, Thomas Berdych. He leads by 3-2 on serve, having dropped the first 2, winning just 1 game in the process.
Yeah, and great fighting qualities from Berdych there. Staving off those... Hockey, but in Canada, I think hockey, the popularity of ice hockey far outweighs tennis.
Yes, I think even with Shapovalov, Raonic, Bouchard, you name them. But that's lovely. Thanks for the message, Leslie. All right, Rafa Nadal here is serving at 2-3 on serve in the third set. First 2 sets in the bag for him, as is the opening point of this service game. Oh, wow. TFO has broken and will serve for the match, Mark, on Melbourne Arena to knock out Grigor Dimitrov.
Will he celebrate again if he wins like he did on his last match?
Will he ever? Nadal serves out wide to Berdych and goes the big 1-2 punch, and it's successful. I kind of felt Berdych could have almost made it to that, but he decided not to chase that down, and Nadal out to what looks like a comfortable 30-love lead here in the 6th game.
I'm very impressed with the way Nadal has really stayed focused this entire match. Has not let up at all. Very impressive. Business end of the tournament starting.
Yeah,
first week's almost over.
Well, the 4th round is really what you consider to be the 2nd week, isn't it? It's only Sunday, as it's in Australia, but this is the business end, as you say. This is where it all happens, and Nadal's happy with that inside-in forehand down the line for a lovely winner and 40 love. So the moment of truth is going to come up for TFO shortly. It's been a dream run to this point. Can he continue it? That is the question. Francis TFO of the United States.
Great serving from Nadal.
Yep, 3 games all.
Another 3 points off that serve.
3 games all.
Pressure goes back on to Berdych, and really he's under so much pressure because he can't afford any mistakes at this point. 6-love, 6-1 to Nadal, if you're just joining us in the first 2 sets in an hour and a minute. It was amazing to watch. 3 games all in the 3rd set. Fairly quick games, though, as well. So
it was a highlight reel for Nadal, those first opening 2 sets.
It really was, wasn't it? Berdych in a sort of a must-hold situation, as he has been right throughout this 3rd set. Can't really afford to go with a breakdown and dig his way out of that. Serves to the backhand of Nadal, pretty deep in the box. Nice serve. Forehand from Nadal, kicks up, but Berdych can handle that. He's a tall man. He's running Nadal around a little bit at the moment. The slice from the... no, Berdych, that was out. I could have told him that as soon as he hit the shot. Mind you, he probably knew himself, slicing wide into the tram lines.
Yeah, and as he hit that slice, the ball just kept on floating and spinning wider and wider by the time it landed.
3 match points for TFO.
Holy dolly.
Now make that 2. Dimitrov saved 1 of them. Serve into the net from Berdych. Love 15 here. Nadal has not much of a go at that. Flattened out by Berdych with the forehand. There's the slice from Nadal again, taking all the pace off it. On the run, no, Nadal didn't get it anywhere near enough of that. 15 all.
It's almost...
It's done. TFO has knocked out Grigor Dimitrov of Bulgaria, the 20th seed. Francis TFO from the United States, 7-5, 7-6, 6-7, 7-5. He's into the quarterfinals.
Massive.
That is a massive result for TFO. On the run, Nadal tries to make what would have been an audacious forehand over the high part of the net down the line, but he misses it, and Berdych moves out to 30-15. So TFO beats Dimitrov, upset. Collins beat Kerber, massive upset. But on centre court, it's going as planned for Rafael Nadal.
No upset here thus far.
40.
Thus far, though, Berdych is definitely resurgent in this third set.
Yeah, at least he's putting some scoreboard pressure on Nadal, and he seems to be holding serve a little bit more comfortable in this 3rd set. He's at 40-15.
Serves to the Nadal backhand and up the line. Makes it beautifully. So Berdych holds to 15 and leads by 4-3 on serve in the 3rd set.
Well done. Well done to Berdych. Now at least he's putting himself in a position to generate a bit of pressure, scoreboard pressure on Nadal, and Nadal has to serve to keep the score level peg. So it gives Berdych a bit of a chance to be a little bit more courageous on the returns.
Two sets up. Serves to the backhand of Berdych, and nicely done by Thomas, but it does sit up rather for Rafa to slam it away, as he's done so often this afternoon.
He's hitting that off forehand very well today, Rafa. Also in his previous matches. He loves that hook forehand up the line to the backhand, but it seems that off forehand is getting better.
Doesn't need to get much better for his opponents. We've played an hour and a half, and normally we're entering into a first set tiebreak with Nadal, but he's 2 sets up and 3-4 against Thomas Berdych in this 4th round match. They're playing for a place in the last 8 of the Australian Open. Nadal serves it. Double fault, was it? Double, yep.
Maybe only his second double fault, I think, for the match. And Cheryl from Nanimo in BC Canada.
It's his first, actually.
His first double fault?
First double.
She's another Canadian that prefers tennis over hockey.
Okay.
Well done, Cheryl. Not all Canucks like hockey.
No, that's so
but
true.
She's obviously a Rafa fan. Vamos to Rafa.
Vamos. Nadal serves. Oh, that's a good return there from Berdych. That took Nadal by surprise. Just blocked that beautifully, Thomas Berdych, and he's just opened the door, what you might say, ajar here. It's ajar.
He's got the key to the door at least. I'd like to see him jump around a little bit here, get a little fired up.
He's had Nadal at love 30 a couple of times on serve, but Nadal slammed the door shut pretty quickly and won 4 consecutive points on both occasions. But here it's 15-30.
Let's see how the champ responds.
Nadal serves. Backhand from Berdych is okay. Up the line, Nadal. That's more like it. Much more regulation play from Rafael Nadal. The 1-2 punch and the forehand put away comfortably up the line. 30 all.
He does that so well. Swings a serve out wide. The backhand return goes cross court. Under a little bit of pressure, Nadal's able to just hit that forehand up the line. Over the highest part of the net. Stone cold winner. 30 all.
Shot clock counts down nearly to 1, but Nadal just beats it. It'll be a second serve for Berdych, who's looking a little bit more eager on the baseline here. Just manages to catch that down the tee. Nadal gets a looping forehand, lands right near the baseline. Then again, Berdych steps in with a heavy enough backhand of his own. Getting some good depth on his shots is Thomas Berdych, but he's having to deal with the same from Nadal right now. Goes cross court, the Czech player. Nadal does the same, and then Berdych catches the tape, and it lands back on his side. And once again, Nadal wrests control of the game.
And Nadal's forehand, it looks like the ball's going out. He hits it so high over the net, so fast with his racket speed, and generates so much spin, and it just seems to drop the last metre or two of its flight path. And then it bounces up sharply. Berdych unable to control it off the ground. Game point.
At 40-30, Berdych gets on the backhand, but it's way long beyond the baseline. And Nadal again digs himself out of a tricky-ish situation and levels proceedings at 4 games all on serve, with Berdych now to serve from right in front of us. If you're just joining us, it's Francis Tiafoe who's into the quarterfinals at the expense of Grigor Dimitrov, 7-5 in the 4th, and Danielle Collins into the quarterfinals at the expense of Angelique Kerber. Amazingly, and she demolished her, lost 2 games in seeing off the 16 champion.
Yeah.
Amazing. On AO Radio here, Berdych serves right at Nadal, who gets a backhand very short into play. Berdych goes cross-court, should put this away. Berdych at the net, nice backhand volley, and does.
And that's probably the closest Berdych has got to the net for a volley on one of these transition plays. Much, much better. Really accelerated in. Much easier to hit the volley when you're much closer to the net. Get it when it's above the height of the net compared to down by your shoelaces.
Mm-hmm. Berdych serves too long. Ready again for the second serve. Nadal has a real hwang at that, but gets it all wrong. On the forehand, goes wide. Berdych 30-love, looking to open up a 5-4 lead. On serve, though, in the third set. 2 sets to love down to Rafael Nadal, the 2009 champion here. Berdych serves, just cut, sliced back from Nadal. Berdych should put this away and does. Off forehand winner, pretty comfortable. Another comfortable service game for Tomas Berdych.
Yeah, 2 quality serves.
Maybe a tie-break here.
Oh!
Ooly dooly.
Yeah, winner. Berdych 21 winners to Nadal's 28.
Berdych serves. Nadal meets this with a backhand. Straight back down the middle of the court. Same again from Nadal. Berdych creates a little bit of an angle, and Nadal is already marching towards his seat because he pulled that well wide, and Berdych does again what he needed to do and leads 5-4 on serve in the third. Nadal by 2 sets to love. Mark, a few words from you, and I'm going to make way for Ravi, who's going to come in and join you in commentary.
Yeah, well, the thing I like...
Thank you very much.
I shall slip out the back door. It's been a pleasure. Keep on listening.
Indeed, you can get in touch with us, and please feel free to get in touch. There are many ways to connect with us. OzOpen.com. You can tune in to 99.7 FM if you're in Melbourne. If you're listening, email us at aoradio@tennis.com.au. As Rafa is back out to serve now, serving to stay in this third set. Has been under pressure for much of this match serving, but this is a pressure moment. Kate Kearns is alongside.
Good afternoon, Ravi. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm doing great. What is not to be great about watching Rafa and Berdych at The Australian Open, Nadal's second serve going to the Berdych forehand. He misses wide, well wide.
15 love.
Well, that was a chance to really put pressure on Nadal.
Yeah, early on in this game, which, well, the first 2 sets have flown by. Berdych was in all sorts of trouble. But yes, having fought back here in the third.
Trying to get the break here. That would take it to a 4-set. The winner of this one will take on Frances Tiafoe, who has been a revelation this Australian Open. First time into the 4th round, and now first time into a Grand Slam quarterfinal after taking out the man who's played so well here in the past. Quarterfinals as well as the semifinalist, Grigor Dimitrov. Huge win for Tiafoe.
One of the best of his career, I'm sure.
And we love seeing his quotes in the press conference as well. Second serve, Nadal. Pardon me, first serve. Off the top of the tape, going long. Rafa coming into the Australian Open with his new service action, new service motion. Seems to be paying dividends. More zip on the serve as well from Rafa. Second serve to the Berdych backhand. The Nadal 4 and long.
Just on that service action, Ravi, how are you seeing it? Because I struggled in the first couple of matches to see any difference. Apparently it's very subtle.
It is a bit subtle. I think it's more of the momentum. The one thing I noticed, the momentum created by the arm action going up and down, which gives him a bit more going into hitting the serve.
Okay.
And the one thing he also mentioned a couple of days ago was he is doing this to extend his career. And that's great to hear because we want guys like Rafa around a long time. First serve, again, just missing. Top of the tape, he was going down the tee with a bit of spin. So hasn't had any first serves in this game. Rafa second serve hit, going to the Berdych backhand to the forehand, and Rafa missed into the net. So here is another chance for Berdych.
That was a big miss by Rafa just then. Really not getting in under that ball at all. Barely hit the net.
Yeah, and the crowd haven't had a chance a lot to get into this match because of the lopsided nature, but now they're into it just that little bit. Maybe they want a bit more tennis. 15-30. Nadal looking for a first serve here. Going out to the Berdych backhand. The return long, and Berdych turns around in dismay. It wasn't one of those serves where you say it's an unreturnable. He should have returned it.
That was an opportunity missed by Berdych. He was looking to go down the line. He's gone way long. Just needed really to get that back into court.
And especially after Rafa made a shaky error, right?
Yeah, that's right. Make him play.
30-all. The ball bounces from Rafa. That last serve, 172 kilometers per hour. First serve down the tee. Backhand floated by Berdych. Stays it right on the baseline. Forehand by Rafa to the Berdych forehand. Here's a Rafa backhand down the line, but Berdych has plenty of time to rip a backhand. Here's the forehand from Rafa. A bit cagey, a bit short. Rafa now with a slice to the Berdych. Backhand cross-court slice from Berdych. And then Rafa going down the line. Now he has Berdych on the stretch, but good recovery by the Czech. Rafa's backhand is big. Just catches the line, and then the put away. Almost going long from Rafa on the backhand.
14.
And Berdych can only smile.
Yeah, nice change up then from Nadal in that point. And that floating return from Nadal right to the line, and Berdych just on the stretch trying to get the backhand in.
And Rafa,
short ball,
Rafa hit that backhand. He kind of stopped for a second, thinking that ball could be long.
Yeah.
Luckily for him, it was good.
It was perfect.
As it is with Rafa, right? Game point now for Nadal. 15-30 has been overturned. Good serve out wide, sliced long. A little fist pump from Rafa. Looks over to his camp and is happy to get the 5-all.
Well, there was some opportunities then for Berdych to really attack the Rafa serve. Missed opportunities.
5.
It was a big game.
Yeah, those are the types of chances, he really needs to be taking.
You don't get many of them. Not against Rafa Nadal.
Berdych coming into this Australian Open with a new clothing sponsor, the Hydrogen Apparel, otherwise known as Team Skull. Fabio Fognini has often worn their shirts. He made a splash here. Was it 2014? Berdych, when Berdych was wearing the Argentina looking shirt.
That's right. Oh, he plays well at the Australian Open.
He does. Favorite Grand Slam in terms of what he's been able to do. Berdych, here's a forehand ripped inside in from Berdych. Rafa is in trouble, and that backhand is going to go well long and wide.
15
Well, Nadal was on the move back to the forehand side, and that ball goes in behind him.
Speak to your point, Kate. He's been quarterfinalist 7 of the last 8 times. So he's just phenomenal in Melbourne.
Yeah, it's a great record.
First serve missing out wide. Going to the Rafa forehand. The stance of Rafa pretty similar throughout this match. He's probably closer to the backboard than the baseline. He likes to adopt these different positions, returning serve. And the second serve goes into the Rafa forehand, heavily spun by Rafa. Here's another forehand from Rafa. Berdych netting his own forehand for 15 all.
Spending a lot of the last part of this set in the shade at the back of the court, Rafa.
So not only for tactics, but some respite from the sun also.
Well, that's true.
Not the craziest of warm days in Melbourne, but look out Thursday and Friday. Temperatures could be hitting around 38 on Thursday, maybe 35 on Friday. Big serve from Berdych down the tee. Rafa stretching on the forehand goes into the net.
I think conditions today have been perfect. Coolish day, sun is out.
You know about the seasons here, Kate, right? Is that true, the 4 seasons in one day?
Oh, absolutely. It's just Melbourne. What was it like this morning? No, it was pretty sunny.
It was okay this morning. It wasn't too bad. 30-15 first serve to the Rafa body. Backhand repelled by backhand. Here's a forehand by Rafa, and this time Berdych again netting with a forehand. The forehand side from Berdych is always the side that can be a bit more erratic. Yes, it's powerful, but it's not as steady as the backhand.
Yeah, he was on the run, though, out wide, trying to get that forehand on the stretch.
And now Nadal does have the opportunity at 30 all to potentially carve out a break chance. Berdych would love to get that first serve flowing. Serve out wide. He took the pace off. Floater return by Rafa in play. Inside on forehand from Berdych. And the forehand reply from Rafa. Another forehand miss from Berdych.
Oh, Berdych really should have stepped in to take that ball earlier.
And Nadal, after being in a bit of trouble in his last service game, manufactures that break chance. Ball bounces from Berdych. Here is the delivery from the Czech. Looking for the corner out wide. Just long. Didn't miss by much, but not worthy of a challenge, says Berdych.
I thought it was worth the challenge.
Yeah, especially in this situation.
The corner.
Second serve for Nadal to look at. He's feasted on these second serve points. Again, taking a big rip on the forehand. Good return from Rafa. Here's the forehand going probably mid-court from Rafa. Forehand short from Rafa. Backhand from Berdych. The forehand completely missed, hit by Rafa outside the tram lines.
Yeah, really came off the forehand then, Rafa. Trying to go down the line for the big winner and hoping for the break.
And that is a real let-off for Tomas Berdych. How relieved he was to see that ball go well wide. In the match, he'd only been winning 44% of his second serve points. So bucking the trend, winning that point. First serve out wide, good pace to the Rafa backhand. As ever, it's Rafa with the slice backhand return in. Then he digs up another ball, Nadal, and does it land in? No. Almost caught the baseline as Berdych let it go. The ball floating over him.
Oh, I thought Berdych had made a huge mistake just then.
We're just seeing it again. Yeah, it looked to be long, but it was very close.
Oh, he was watching that.
Overturn the break chance. Berdych now with a game point. First serve to Nadal backhand. Late call, but called nonetheless from the man in the chair, Mohamed Layani, sporting the goatee these days, is Mo with the sunglasses. So second serve for Berdych to hit. And it's a double fault into the net.
I just wonder, he missed that first serve, and I think he thought that was good. He questioned it, sort of got a little
doubt.
Yeah, the doubt crept in, thinking, hey, I thought that was right.
He also just had a little bit of a tug after hitting that second serve toward his midriff area. So I wonder if he's feeling something. Berdych may be totally nothing.
For service. I cannot ignore it in the team where I cannot ignore it.
Well, you may have heard just there, let called. Berdych not very impressed with the call, but as the champ I was saying, Lanny, what are you going to do? You cannot go against the machine.
No, that's right. We heard the machine.
It. Yeah, we heard the machine.
There's been some, question over quite a few of the calls, a few of the serves, but that one was audible.
Bring back the net judge. No, just kidding. First serve going long from Berdych. Remember those days, Kate?
They were the good old days.
Yeah, good old days.
When did they disappear exactly?
A long time ago, I think, when the Cyclops started coming in. And
long before our time.
Second serve by Berdych. Backhand return from Nadal. Here's a forehand from Nadal. Pretty good depth on that forehand from Nadal. And as such, it's the forehand miss from Berdych.
Advantage.
Yes, on the back foot trying to hit that forehand, Berdych. Said great depth from Nadal.
Break point number 2 for Rafa. trying to get out to 6-5 would allow him to try and serve out and reach the quarterfinals for a spot for a match against Francis Tiafoe. 5 for 12 on break points in this match, but 0 for 3 in this set. Here's a slice return from Rafa as Berdych came in serving volleying, and it was a very good volley that forces the error from Rafa.
Got to the net quickly then, Berdych. Really forced the issue with Nadal. Closed in so fast just then.
Yeah, he's somebody who throughout his career has played a fair bit of doubles. He's a good volleyer, especially for a tall guy. Yeah, he can volley, Berdych, and just that element of doubt by coming in put in the mind of Nadal change.
And why wouldn't you? He's got a big first serve. Follow it in.
Second serve here. Extended 11th game of this third set. Serve out wide, and it was a good serve out wide.
I like it. Yeah, it was short. So short and out wide. Had Rafa on the stretch, but didn't quite get enough on that return.
Yeah, so many players at this tournament talking about the variety, how nice it's to have that on the serve, not just the pace, the movement, the placement, mixing it up. That's what Berdych did there.
Yeah, keep your opponent wondering.
Yep. Another chance to close it out, but another second serve he has to hit in this situation. Let's see if Rafa will be a bit more audacious in his second serve return should he have a chance. Did have a chance. Here's the forehand just past the service line on the return. Berdych can attack with a big forehand down the line. He puts away the forehand inside out to save that game. Thomas Berdych, well done. And the crowd appreciate his efforts as well. The Czech who has played so well in Melbourne. He leads 6-5.
We've got an email from Rob, who's listening to us in Malaysia. Can Tiafoe put pressure on Nadal in the next round?
Had the reserves to come back 2 days later and beat Federer in another 5 sets. He's not looking to go 5 sets here, Rafa. He wants to do it in 3, but he's going to have to do it in a tiebreak if he can, because he's serving now at 5-6 in this third set after having those break chances. Both players being tested now in their last service games. Rafa was behind 15-30 in his previous service game. Rafa looking up. Looking to hit the serve now to the Berdych backhand. Short reply, Rafa going good depth, the inside in, then the inside out, or the off forehand from Rafa. A good dig. Slice from Rafa. Here's a drop shot from Berdych. Too good. No chance for it at all. Love 15.
Set up with a beautiful forehand by Berdych there down the line. Opened up the court. Got the angle he was after. And puts away the short ball. Now that was a positive point.
Yeah, lovely finishing touch on the drop shot. Didn't open up the face too early, but also realized he had a lot of time, a lot of space to work with.
He had his man at the back of the court. And Rafa's fast, but not that quick.
Love 15. Nadal going out wide, missing wide by a couple of balls, so a second serve, potentially a chance for Berdych to get to love 30.
Yeah, I'd like to see him attack here on this second serve.
He is standing much closer to the baseline as a flatter hitter of the ball, which is what you would expect. Moves in just a tad to hit this second serve backhand return. And Rafa going inside in, missing into the net.
Well, Ravi, the pressure is building here on the Nadal serve. Love 30.
Even for guys like Rafa, Roger, Novak, Andy, scoreboard pressure can be a factor. Serving second in this situation.
That's right, exactly right. Serving from behind in this third set.
Love 30. Rafa would love a cheap point, but any point. Good first serve, but a good return from Berdych. He pulled off on the forehand, but it stayed in for Rafa. A looping ball from Berdych, and then he flans on Rafa. Fist pump.
That is such a big forehand from Rafa. Back of the court, goes over the highest part of the net and down the line for the winner.
And you just say, if you're Berdych, probably too good. Because there was no tension at all on that shot.
Absolutely not.
Fist pump from Rafa. Another look over to his camp, his extended box, but the usual suspects in Rafa's box. They usually travel with him everywhere he goes, or at least in the Grand Slams, including his girl Francisca. Second serve for Nadal. That first serve going into the net out wide. Not a lot of pace. He was just trying to change direction. 164 on that first serve. Second serve to come now. Here's Rafa going big. 174, but a good return for Berdych, and then Berdych nets the forehand.
Oh, so close. What a get from Nadal, though, at the back of the court with the backhand. Had to get down low to control that ball. Straight back at Berdych. Oh, such wonderful pressure tennis.
Well done to both players, but you probably would say the easiest ball was the one that Berdych missed, the last one. Shot clock winding down. Rafa hits it. First serve going to the Berdych backhand. Short. Rafa able to attack on the inside. And here's Nadal with a forehand going cross court. Berdych with a backhand to the Nadal forehand. They're trading cross courts, and neither player wanting to go for too much. Nadal again heavily spun to the Berdych backhand. Berdych takes it up the line. He has the opportunity coming. Rips the forehand. Big set point.
That's terrific from Berdych. There was an exchange of backhands there for quite some time in that point, and then it was Berdych that took the advantage. Changed it up, gets the open court and puts it away.
Yeah, as you said, Kate, he changed it up, going big down the line with the backhand. That's what changed up the rally. Set point for the Czech to force a fourth set. Return inside. Here's a Rafa forehand. Big inside out. The off forehand. He saves the set point.
Steps into the court then, Rafa, to put away that forehand.
Well, he's talked about it so many times, on the break points. He still wants to be aggressive, Rafa. Sometimes the tendency for players to sit back and be cautious, but not there. He took it on.
Hope for the mistake. That wasn't not to be.
And also, he's playing with a bit more freedom. Up 2 sets rather than down 2 sets. The apology from Berdych because off that ball, off the lead, he just hit the forehand straight to Rafa, but not a lot of pace on it.
No harm done.
Yeah. Was never going to hurt Rafa. No. These guys get along well. They're mates after some tension in one of their earlier matches in Madrid. That was a long time ago, 2006, indoors, when Madrid was played indoors on a hard court. Forehand from Berdych, off a serve into the body. Good serve from Rafa. Here's a forehand from Rafa to the Berdych forehand. Off forehand, he misses wide. Berdych.
Advantage. Nadal.
Oh, missed opportunities. Berdych, and he knows it. Once again, though, trying to get Nadal out wide to open up the court. That tactic has worked well for him, even in this game.
Game point now for Nadal. Just going back to that match, it was in Madrid. It was Berdych who beat Nadal in Madrid. Fans weren't very happy. Berdych put his finger to his mouth to motion to the fans to be quiet after it ended. Rafa gets to a tiebreak with that return long. So, that didn't go down well with Rafa, and he talked about it post-match. However, it's all part of the maturity that Berdych has undergone. I mean, he started off to indicate as a player who you questioned his hunger sometimes, but he completely changed that around. And now he has been one of the most consistent players.
Well, got to the final Wimbledon.
Yep, 2010,
which was a real breakthrough. We've seen the best of him here at the Australian Open, so it's one of those things where you look after, each year what's gone on in the past 12 months. This 2018 was terrible for him. Didn't play a match after Queens. Had the horrible back injury.
And gets off to a 1-love lead as the return going wide from Rafa off a good serve. Yeah. He does love coming to Melbourne Park, and as he is getting a bit older, obviously more injuries have crept in, so it's nice to see him come back. You never want to see a player go out, right? Not on their own terms.
Like Andy Murray.
Yeah. We wait to see what Murray will do now in terms of his next step. Will he have surgery? Love one. Nadal serving, going out wide to the Berdych.
Yeah, great
backhand,
serve.
great serve. Yeah.
Terrific serve. 174 kilometres an hour out wide. It doesn't sound like a big serve. It's a heavy serve.
And also it's got movement from the lefty,
Yeah, that's right. It's hanging out to the side. It's tough to control. Nothing off your strings.
More sweat coming down from the head of Rafa. Just wipes it off. Still had plenty of time to hit that serve. First serve going into the net as he was going to the Berdych body. Berdych trying to get the mini break in this set. But again, good spin on that serve. The off forehand from Rafa, forcing the air from Berdych long.
Once again, Nadal just finding great angle. Shorten the court, takes Berdych out wide.
1, Nadal.
Fans getting involved, willing Rafa on. They hope he can get to the next stage unblemished and win in straights, but Berdych also has his supporters out on Rod Laver Arena. First serve from the Czech going down the tee. The return is loopy but stays in. Berdych is able to crunch the inside, out forehand, force the error from Rafa, doing it up.
Yes, terrific serve from Berdych. Out wide, 197 kilometres an hour. You can get a bit more pace on that, but that was kicking out wide. Kept low.
Just having a quick glance, very quick glance at their head-to-head tie breaks, and I believe it's 9-4 for Nadal. He would love that trend to continue. First serve out wide. Slice return from Rafa. He has a chance for a pass, but off for the lob. But it goes wide as Berdych was moving forward.
Berdych serving well in this tiebreak,
Berdych.
early on. And he's got his nose in front.
Rafa at the back of the court just giving the towel back to the ball kid. All the ball kids do such a great job every single event they attend, and plenty of them go on to become players. That's why they love coming to these events, and we certainly love the work that they do. Rafa serving 2-3. Serve once again to the Berdych backhand as he goes out wide, opening up the court, and he forces the air off the Berdych forehand.
I think that's worth a challenge from Berdych.
Good shout.
How did you see it, Ravi? Did you?
I think it was.
You thought it was
just
wrong?
wide. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's me, like the Sharon part. It was just wide. It was close. It was close. Hawkeye is coming, and it does tell us it wasn't that close.
It was well long, actually.
Yeah, 2 and a bit balls. My estimation there, Kate. Was that a good estimation?
It was a very good estimation.
2 1/4, 2 3/4, something like that. 3-all at the change of ends. You know, Craig and I were talking about it yesterday. Change of ends in a tiebreak. You're not supposed to go to your chair and take time, but you know the players do it now these days, and Rafa has always done it.
Perhaps Serena is the only person that doesn't.
That's right. A couple of gulps of water from Rafa, and then once he's done, you know what he's doing after that.
Well, he has to arrange those bottles just
aligning
perfectly.
it just so.
You know what I think he should do? He should come out at the start of his matches and put the dots down so he knows exactly where to place the bottle. So then he would save time.
That's a good idea. That's a very good idea.
I might suggest that to him.
I'm sure he'll be amenable to receiving that type of feedback.
He'll probably grab a bottle and throw it at me.
No,
he would never do
like
that, would he?
No, he is not like that. Great competitor on court. I think Leani just maybe looking at Rafa, or maybe having a very gentle word to kind of, let's get going, Rafa. And here we are going now. First serve going into the net from Nadal.
Taking his time on this second serve, Nadal.
A few more bounces off the ball, from the ball, off his racket, wiping some sweat off his brow. Second serve to the Berdych backhand. Good deep return. So Rafa's a bit on the back foot. He misses the backhand long. Mini break Berdych.
I was about to say flat-footed at the back of the court, Ravi. Nadal, now you rarely say that.
I think that's a return we've seen more and more from the players in recent years, going big down the middle.
Yeah.
Right? To maybe force the air, or if nothing else, also to make the next shot be short so they can potentially attack.
Don't give anything to Nadal to work from.
Berdych now with a lead in this tiebreak, 4-3, with a mini break, that is, because he has been ahead previously. That first serve going well long, so Nadal with a chance to get the point right back. Second serve going to the Nadal forehand, and his return landing just past the service line. Nadal is on the stretch on the forehand side. Here's a little slice from Berdych into the... What was he trying there, Kate?
Oh, it was totally gettable, but he was wanting to bring Nadal in, because that shot from Nadal, it was lofty.
Yeah.
A lot of air in behind it. Goes for the drop shot, Berdych, and just made a mess of that.
It just felt like he made a late decision to play that shot. Maybe he changed his mind, seeing the court positioning of Rafa. Meanwhile, Rafa just asking for a bit of a pause there. Somebody in the crowd moving. First serve from Berdych out wide to the Rafa backhand return in play. Berdych misses the forehand. Wide.
Oh, he had an open court too, but that's... Nadal does that to you. You have to find the line. You've got to go for your shots. You know he's going to run down those balls. Berdych really upset after that point, but I'm not sure what that's about. Was it not liking the call?
Well, I think what he's saying there that... I think what he's saying there, the champ umpire, is he has had to wait before hitting his serve. Nadal was making him wait.
Right.
So, hence the pause, disrupting his rhythm.
It goes. Huh? I don't see it when we change over, and I don't see it now.
And the changeover is not. In the changeover, when you have a regular changeover, is not.
And now? I mean, there is no time going. I mean, do we play by the time or no?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Come on, Salah. I'm ready.
Well, he's also not very happy, I think, with the time that Rafa's taking on serve, thinking the shot clock should be up and running.
Yeah, he's not being called on it.
Yeah, because they showed the shot clock and it wasn't at the time moving, so obviously waiting. And that comes from the champ umpire.
That's
the
right.
champ umpire directs
he controls
it.
it.
Yeah, he controls it. 2 serves to come for Rafa to put this match away and reach the quarterfinals. First serve from Nadal to the Berdych backhand. You knew that was going to happen. Then the big forehand winner down the line from Rafa.
And Berdych at the back of the court still arguing the point. He just needs to refocus now.
He's blocked, and there's a reason he doesn't look.
Well, now the serve shot clock is completely blocked. That's what Leani was saying. So there's no clock. So that's now manual labor coming for Leani. He has to time.
Exactly. That's right.
And Berdych obviously seeing this mini break lead, so that's adding to his frustration. Now he is down 2 match points. Nadal trying to reach the quarterfinals in Melbourne. First serve to the Berdych backhand. He was trying to go there into the net. It went. Bouncing from Nadal's second serve to come. It goes to the Berdych forehand. The change-up. Here's the forehand from Berdych. Here's the forehand from Rafa. The good get from Berdych on the forehand side. Rafa coming into the net. Does not hit the volley as the Berdych backhand goes into the net. And that is it. Rafael Nadal has gone through to the quarterfinals at the Australian Open with a 6-1, 7-6 win over Thomas Berdych.
Well, Berdych really didn't get into that match until the 3rd set. The first 2 sets just flying by. Nadal dictating play out there, just far too good. And in the end, Nadal really, he wasn't troubled out there today. As we said, Berdych, he's come back. He hasn't played tennis for quite some time. Did well in Doha, got to the final, has come through here into the round of 16, so has played incredibly well for a man with no matches behind him.